Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well. I've decided that it's probably a bit best that we get through a basic introduction into the leads feature in Pipedrive. Now, if you're not familiar, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, or you're just taking a look at Pipedrive for the first time, you might not know exactly what a lead is. But for Pipedrive, how it's defined is it is a uncontacted or unqualified opportunity, right? So in Pipedrive, we have two main types of opportunity records. We have leads, which are these uncontacted or unqualified opportunities, and we have deals, which are these pre-qualified or contacted opportunities where we know that there's some type of need or at least fit for the services that we offer. So beforehand, I used to not even count the leads feature as something worth implementing for our clients. I think it was maybe first introduced a year or two ago, maybe a little bit longer, but it really isn't until recently where its functionality has gotten to the level where it's worth implementing for our clients. So, um, you know, when we first started using Pipedrive and the leads feature, you couldn't even email directly out of the leads inbox. You couldn't do workflow automations out of the leads inbox. There was just a lot that couldn't be done with it before, and you couldn't even report on it, right, in the Insights tab. That's now all changed. Now you can automate leads to be created automatically. You can have workflows within the leads inbox. You can report on lead conversion and performance. You can email directly from the lead file. So there's so much more that you can do now that it's really worth setting up the leads tab if you haven't already. If you are an old school Pipedrive user, you might remember that, what was kind of suggested to you before when you set up your pipeline was this first stage would be lead in, then lead qualified, meeting booked, meeting complete, proposal sent, contract signed. Exactly what's here, except you'd have a lead in stage. Now what's being recommended is you use the lead inbox for all those unqualified or uncontacted opportunities. Once you've qualified it, that's where you convert the lead into a deal. And that's what a lot of our newer clients are now starting to do. There are certain circumstances where it does make sense to still use the pipelines for kind of the lead process. But for most people, you should really consider using the leads tab. So let's get into it. The leads tab is here on the left-hand side. It's the first button down after the Pipedrive logo. Now, the leads tab includes more than just the leads inbox. It also includes a lot of add-on features that you'd have to pay extra for, and that's the lead booster stuff, right? So live chat, which I have a video about, and the chatbot, web forms, and prospector. All of that is an add-on that can help boost the amount of leads that you're getting coming into the system using Pipedrive's native features. And you also have stuff like web visitor add-on. I think that's in partnership with like Lead Feeder or something like that. And then we also have this new feature that's in beta mode in the leads tab, which is messaging, which you should be able to connect your Facebook Messenger to the leads inbox and Pipedrive and WhatsApp as well. Now you can see here for the Facebook Messenger, it is created directly by Pipedrive, whereas the WhatsApp integration is run through Twilio. But either way, those are great features of the leads. This leads tab, but just do know that it is an add-on. So for our discussion today, let's focus specifically on the leads inbox. I want to show you guys around. This is more of just an introduction into Pipedrive leads. Now, as I mentioned very briefly before, it's important to note that a lead is a type of opportunity. As we've talked about in other videos, we have 4 record types in Pipedrive. We have people, organizations, leads, and deals. So they're broken down to those 2 categories: contact categories, people, organizations, and leads and deals are those opportunity records, right? So we have the lead, which is a uncontacted or unqualified opportunity. We have a deal, which is a qualified, pre-qualified, or qualified opportunity, where some type of conversation has always started. Another way to look at it, again, it's different for each organization, but leads is for outbound work, whereas the deals is for kind of inbound opportunities or qualified outbound opportunities. So the other thing to note again with those record types is, since they're both opportunities, you can convert one to the other, and that's very simple to do. If you're on a lead file here, you can see that you can just hit convert to deal with this green button right here. It will disappear from the leads tab and it'll show up in the pipeline in the stage that you selected to show up in. So as you can see here, when I clicked on this lead file, this lead record in the this lead file in this leads inbox, it pulls up a streamlined file here, right? So it looks very similar to, say, like a deal file, but it's a bit more streamlined, a bit more compact. There's a couple reasons for that. First, extremely helpful is it doesn't occupy the entire screen. And what this allows you to do is to scroll through the different leads here, right? So you don't have to click on a deal file and then click out of it, search for a new one to kind of go down the list here. That's for the ability to be efficient in your calling or emailing, whatever you're doing. When you're working with leads, you're usually working with a lot more volume than you would with deals. So the idea is that we want to help you work efficiently through that process there. So you might see this lead here and say, oh, you know what, I need to find a little bit more information about them. Let me just give them a quick call. You'd have the phone number, click to call with your voice over IP service, and you gather more information. You add it to the file, go down to the next one just by clicking up or down. Same thing, you could send them a quick email. It's all here. You can do the same type of thing that you would in a deal file. But let's talk really quickly about the lead file itself here. It still has those 5 sections that I break down the deal file into, which is the header section, the sidebar section, the action bar, the plan section, and the done section. It's just a bit more compact. Header section only composes the lead title right here, which you can change right here. And it also includes visibility settings. So it depends how you set up your permissions and visibility settings in your Pipedrive settings section as an admin. But for each deal, you can also, or each lead, you can also control who do you want to be able to see this lead. Just you and followers. People who's in your same visibility group, so like same team, owners, groups, and subgroups, or the entire company. In addition to that, after the header section, we have the sidebar section. This is very similar. The only thing is that when you hover over these different custom field titles, it's right over, like the add value covers up the name of it, right? So for the value, you just have to add it in, and then you see it, message from client, you have to click on it, you can see it. But it kind of shows up in a different order, and that allows it to be a little bit more compact. You can see here that you can expand and close fields as needed. So you might have in your custom field settings some fields that don't show up, by default in the lead and deal files. That's fine, but you can still expand and show them here. Now, the important thing to note is that these settings, the lead and deal settings, are exactly the same. So if you have an order in the deal file, it's going to be the same order in the lead file. So you might want lead source up front, in this case, website, right? Client message and a demo for the lead. That's going to be the same order for the contact or for the custom fields in the deal file as well. So you can see here, in this case, we have the lead details up top, person details next, and organization details down here below. We also have a lead specific BCC if you're working outside of Pipedrive and just CCing certain messages in, and a universal address for your Pipedrive account. So it still has almost everything that you'd see in a deal file. One thing that you wouldn't see is followers and participants. So you don't see that here. You might be able to add followers, but I know definitely participants, that has to be when you already have the deal set up. All right, so we've talked about the header section. We've talked about the sidebar section. The next section that we have is the action bar, right? And this is pretty much like a deal file, but it only allows you to do notes, activities, and emails. You are not able to add files. You're also not able to do invoices and create documents from scratch in this action bar. So it is a little bit simplified. Planned and done sections are completely the same. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that, other than, again, the point of the leads tab is to be as efficient as possible with your time, whereas the deal is more effective as possible. So one difference that you're going to see here is that it allows you to quickly add a task here. So let's say that we followed up with Matthew Salas. That's great. In order to schedule the next call, we can do that right here. Great, we schedule the next call in an hour to follow up. Right, so it makes it easier to quickly schedule tasks. You're able to quickly change them just right here. So you can say, it's just kind of built in. It makes it a little bit easier to schedule tasks. Right, now you can still do the standard schedule using this one up here. Right, task schedule, or you can just do other, and it'll pull up the same one. But it just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so I mean that's the deal file right there. For this inbox, there's a couple things that I do want to explain as well. And sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit, but this tutorial is just kind of a bit off the cuff, but I felt like I wanted to talk about it today. You can see here with this leads inbox, we have a couple of different columns being shown. Just like any other list view, whether it's for people, organizations, deals, or leads, you're able to customize it, right? So you can see here that we're able to click the gear icon and add or take away columns. Those columns can be any field related to the lead, person, or organization, right? Once you've added a column just by checking it off, it will show up at the end of your columns list, and you're able to move the columns around just by clicking and dragging. What you're also able to do is filtering. At first, when this leads inbox was implemented, you couldn't have custom filters. You could only filter by the default source, right? Did it come from a deal, web form, so on and so forth, and by certain labels. Now what you're able to do is you're also able to create custom filters like you are in everywhere else, any other list view in Pipedrive, where you can create custom filters and say, I want to see all, deals that are owned by this person that were created at this time and whose state that they operate in is Maryland, something like that, right? You're able to create those custom filters in this section right here. One thing to note when you're adding and filtering by labels, the leads tab and working with leads, that's the only type of record where you can add more than one label to a file, right? So you might use labels not only for just hot, warm, or cold, but maybe the type of event that they attended, if your leads are coming from events that you attended, or stuff like that. So the lead record is the only record where you can have more than one label selected as once, and that impacts your filtering as well. Whereas, here when you hit labels, if you select two labels, it's only going to pull up those leads that have both of those labels or all the labels that you've selected, right? You can also create new labels right here as well. And you just click again to unclick labels. All right, so we've talked about the leads inbox. We've talked about the lead record itself. Let's talk a little bit about the archive. A lot of people don't know what this is. A lot of my clients, weren't even too familiar with it until I explained it a bit more. When we're working with deals in Pipedrive, we can change its status by filing it as lost if it's not a good deal or we ran into an issue, right? Maybe they went with a competitor, maybe we lost contact with them, whatever it is. In the deal section, we file deals as lost. Well, the equivalent to that for leads is not filing it as won or lost, because if a deal is won, if a lead is won, it's converted into a deal, right? That would be the equivalent of that. So for lost, what we're doing is there's no lost or lost reason. We're just archiving it. The reason why you would archive a lead, and you do that, say, down here, let me go into leads inbox for you. The reason why you would archive a lead is, let's say you never got a response. Maybe it's just a bad lead, a trash lead, or it doesn't have any of the details that you're looking for a potential client. You can archive a lead just by hitting these three dots. Right here, the archive button right here. When you archive the lead, it disappears from your leads inbox and instead goes to the archive. It's still visible, just like you can still see lost deals, and you can still unarchive a lead, right? Just by going back into the file and hitting unarchive. But what this does is that clears your inbox. Data quality in any CRM is important, so it's the same type of thing. If it's not an active lead or an active deal, file it as lost, file it as one if it's a one deal, or archive it if it's not a good lead, right? You can always go back and unarchive as necessary. And just like with deals, you can still schedule tasks for archived leads or lost deals if you're in the deal section. So there's a lot that can be done there. But utilize the archive section of leads inbox to help keep your section clean. Also, with any other list view, you're able to bulk edit. You can bulk edit up to 500 records at a time. When you're bulk editing a lead, you can update the title, the the labels, the value, owner, or who it's visible to. You can also use it to archive or completely delete a lead. Let's talk a little bit about when would you archive a lead versus when would you delete a lead. In my view, and this is the same again for what you do with deals, my view is that you'd only delete a lead if it's just bad info, or like it shouldn't have been imported as a lead or come into Pipedrive as a lead. Maybe it's spam or something like that. In all other cases, if it's just a really cold lead where you're not getting any response, just archive it for now. And if you ever have downtime in the future where you need to drum up more business, work on SDR work, that's where you can try to tackle it again, unarchive it, and keep on working it as a potential lead, a potential opportunity. Good. So I think I've covered everything right now. You see that you have the three dots here on the right-hand side where you can convert, archive, and delete as well. So you don't actually have to go into the file itself or bulk edit, stuff like that. I'm not going to spend too much time on Lead Booster or these add-ons just because they deserve the video in themselves. I've actually already done that for Chatbot and web forms a bit. But I think that's it for now. To add a lead manually, you know that you can do that here. The add lead button looks exactly like you would expect with any other add dialog box in Pipedrive here. And when you're ready to convert a lead. Let's say that's when you've had contact and confirmed that there's some potential for a fit, either some type of conversation going on. You do that again just by hitting the green button. The add deal dialog box is going to come up. You can update it to include the name of the deal. So like right by default it says lead. You can update it to say John Doe deal. And you can add any additional information, pipeline, stage it should be in, so on and so forth. Right. And we can take a quick look. It's removed from the inbox, and we can see it right here as a deal. Right. And you have a note down here that says that it was converted from a lead to a deal, when it was converted by, and which account converted it. And finally, I know I've had like 3 false endings in a row, but finally here in the report section, you can see, as I mentioned before, we're able to report on lead performance and conversion rates. So if you do a lead conversion report, we can see here that, let's see how we might want to do this. But yeah, this is a pretty good one. So how much of each type of lead we're converting. So in this case, we're saying of the leads that were previously deals that we converted back to a lead, we're converting only 4.76%. Of the leads that are coming in from being created manually, we're converting 50% of them, and we're not converting any leads that come from the lead booster. Now, this can be changed quite a bit, right? So you might say, I want to see, our conversion rate based on the owner. So, Matthew Salas is converting 5%, George, 16.66%. iSales Solutions demo account is converting 2/3 of all of the leads. So maybe we got to kick Matthew Salas out or have a stern word with him. So that is pretty much an overview of everything that we have going on with the leads tab. This was just kind of a quick off-the-cuff leads tutorial for Pipedrive. If you like this type of content where it's more off the cuff and me just kind of talking through some features, let me know that in the comments. If not, if you don't like this style, you prefer that I have it a little bit more organized and well thought out beforehand, I can do that as well. But it's been a pleasure introducing this leads tab to you guys today in lead feature. If you have any questions about leads or anything else in Pipedrive, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to help. We have a contact form in the description. We also have a couple affiliate links for signing up for Pipedrive and some of the other tools that we use, including Loom, which we're recording this video on. So that's it for now. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.